everybody. Welcome to Conversations with Jane C. Phillips. I'm Pam Myers with Pam Myers Social Media, and Jane C. Phillips is a psychic medium, a paranormal investigator, and a medical intuitive. Good morning, Jane. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
Now, today, we're going to talk about heart walls, right? Or you're going to talk about heart walls. So tell us to educate the listeners on what a heart wall is.
Oh, okay. So I became certified as an emotion code practitioner about a couple of years ago. And and what that does is it removes emotions from our body that can be trapped anywhere, in our shoulders, our knees, or whatever, that are contributing to maybe mental issues, but it could be physical issues. And one of the things that Dr. Bradley Nelson, who created this, discovered was that we can have a whole ton of emotions trapped right around our heart.
Mm.
And it's like we do that over our lifetime as a result of experiences we've had, and we put a protection up so that someone can't get to us there because we've been hurt, we've been abandoned, we've had all these things. And what I realized when I first learned about this is that this particular month, everybody thinks about Valentine's and
Mhm.
the person you're dating and all of this, but um, and we want to have good relationships, certainly with people we're dating and our spouses and all of that. But the other piece that I sort of realized is that when we have emotions trapped around our heart, mine was, I tell people this when I'm working with them, mine was a 12-foot steel heart wall, 12 feet. So
Wow.
how close can you get to somebody like me when I've got a 12-foot barrier that keeps you getting close and I don't know it, and
Mhm.
you just can't feel into me. So what I sort of discovered, I removed mine. I said, well, what the heck, I'm going to try. It's an experiment because that's how I work in some ways. I thought I'll remove my heart wall and see what happens.
Mhm.
And removing the heart wall is series of usually 3 to 5, sometimes longer sessions. The older we are before we do this, the longer it takes. I think it took me 6 sessions to,
Wow.
to get all the pieces off because your body has to process, and your higher self and the guides that are working with you have to say, okay, enough's enough for today. We need to let that out.
Yeah.
The the end result for me, and I've had it with other clients as I've removed their heart walls through these sessions, is that it not only affects your relationship with your kids and your husband and your boyfriend and your girlfriend and all of that, but it also affects your relationships with your boss, your coworkers,
Mhm.
your friends, because what happens is when we have a heart wall, we get triggered and we shut down if somebody
Mhm.
inadvertently says one of the things that makes you feel abandoned or makes you feel discounted or lack of respect. And what
Mhm.
I discovered and what my clients have discovered is when this wall is there, it doesn't come back. I haven't had it come back yet, but I've only been doing a couple of years with anybody. But what
Mhm.
they find is, and what I found is that you have something that you still might get triggered. Somebody might
Mhm.
say something to me where it makes me feel abandoned, for example, but it doesn't linger there. I kind of go through it and then I'm fine again with usually within a day and sometimes.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
so what it does is it also allows me to maybe have a little more insight into the other person,
Mhm.
less about me and more about, maybe I get some discernment of, oh, I can put it aside because they're having a bad day and they snapped and they still have their heart wall. And maybe
Mhm.
I said something that triggered them. So it's it's pretty an amazing process because once you've done it, we spend the first session when I'm working with people, it's a half an hour session. And the follow-up sessions are just 60, 20 minutes. I'll get that
Okay.
out. So their follow-up are just 20 minutes because we're not going into a big thing about what's going on with you or any of the normal things I do in a regular session. We're just attacking one thing, that the emotions that are trapped around your heart. The first session is really for you to kind of say, well, what's my heart wall made of? Just to give you some sense to focus into it. Some people's are made of wood. I've had people have it made of glass. I've had it made of plexiglass that you
Oh,
can
wow.
see through. Some are like super thin. Mine was 12 feet thick,
Wow.
but thin, but super durable. My
Mm-hmm.
12-foot maybe couldn't match up to somebody's 1-inch one that was pretty impenetrable. But so this is Heart Month. It's Relationship Month. I know it's also Black History Month, but we're going to focus on where I might be able to help you most. So I want people to be aware that you can have better relationships with your family, with your friends, with your loved ones. If you're having difficulties attracting a relationship, you really want to be in a loving relationship with somebody, and it's just not happening. Our heart wall removal is really supportive.
Mm-hmm.
It gives you, it makes us more approachable without us having to try and work at being approachable. Does
Right.
that make sense?
Makes perfect sense. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what I'm doing, this might be a shorter thing, uh, conversation today, but I was trying to figure out how I could help more people have their heart wall removed, have a more better relationships in their life, and more supportive ones. And what I uh, decided to do was to do a one-time, for this month only. It'll go all the way to the end of the month special. So normally a heart wall removal is $90 for a 30-minute session to get started. So you
Mm-hmm.
can have a little more conversation with me. And then they're 20-minute sessions for 60. And when a minimum, I've never had anyone be less than 3 sessions. So that's $210. So
Mm-hmm.
no matter whether you're one of those that needs 3 sessions or 6, like I did, I'm going to offer that as a one-time $150 that
Wow.
you'll pay upfront.
Mm-hmm.
And then what we'll do is you won't be in my regular calendar because it charges differently. But I'm going to create a link that if you email me, and you can go to janecphillips.com to find my email. If you email me and say you want the February Heart Wall special, I'll send you a link, which we'll create in the next day or so. And you'll be able to pay for that. And then once have our, we'll figure out how to get your sessions set up through Calendly so that you can have each session, and we'll set up the first one, and then from each session we'll set up the next one, and my guides will tell me and your guides will tell me how many more you need. Are we done or not done? And it would be just a great Valentine's gift for yourself. And
Right.
the thing for me is I just love doing this work.
Mm-hmm.
So doing it for less, which would allow more people to engage in this, would be a big reward for me. If I could get 20 people that wanted their heart wall removed this month, that would be just great.
Yeah.
And it doesn't take as much out of me or you, because we're not talking about a regular session with what's ever going on. We're talking about removing a big block that you have in your life that's 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 preventing you from really solid positive relationships.
Yeah. It is a
And
great Valentine's gift for
yeah,
this month. Yeah. Great idea, Jane.
so so think about how are you getting along with your family? We all have some
Yeah.
issues one way or another with our family. Maybe it's all great, or your friends,
Mm-hmm.
your spouse, or your boyfriend or girlfriend, or your coworkers and your boss. Um, sometimes just getting this heart wall off is, as we said before, is just going to be really beneficial for your work relationships and your satisfaction with your life, because you're not going to be permanently triggered. You might get a little trigger, as I've noticed, but it doesn't stick. It's just like, oops, right through.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And everybody knows that. I mean, most people know that freeing feeling once you have like some pressure taken off of your shoulders. It just can be life changing, really.
yeah. The only way I can, it's an experience. It's all I can tell you is for me personally, and I have clients who maybe have good access to anger, for example. So somebody hits them in the wrong way and it affects their heart wall. Their reaction is extreme anger, asshole or whatever. Then we have the other people, and then it tends toward more me, is like maybe we get depressed, or like we go into our hole and nobody cares and all of that stuff. And I had a client recently write to me because when we first met, my guidance said, I really think he'd benefit from having his heart wall removed. And he agreed to go through, however, I think we did 4 with him, sessions. But he wrote back that he's having reactions, but they're not staying. They're just, it's just passing. So he's not necessarily overreacting. And that's kind of what I'm finding too, is as I'm able to sort of feel into it, and it's not overreaction. And right now, the word freedom has popped into my head because there's some stuff going on in Canada with the truckers, with a freedom convoy that's not being mentioned in the United States. But freedom's a big deal for us right now, with COVID and everything else. And what if you had a little bit of freedom, that your emotions weren't running you around your heart? What if you were free to have the emotions, but not letting them dictate your final outcome?
Right.
What a gift that is.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And there are things that we can't control. And certainly most of us don't feel like we can control our reactions to things. And that's the work I do with the emotion code and the quantum work I do, is remove any malware or things that are keeping the emotions in charge versus us.
Yeah. So
go ahead.
It could also be used for depression, right?
Yep.
Or anxiety.
Yep.
Any emotion like that. Yeah.
Yeah. It's, it's an aspect of what I do. I'd love to be able to do, I didn't realize I had this goal, but I would love to be able to help 20 people this month. Because then you get to experience, and hopefully in a way, and I do take credit cards, by the way, for those of you who are like, oh my gosh. But if it gets your life back, if you have a better relationship, if you have better work relationships, or with your friends, or you're able to use more discernment when something happens to you, it's going to be worth it, because it moves everything forward in a really positive way.
Right. Awesome. Well, thank you, Jane.
Is there anything else you think I missed, Pam?
No, I think you did a great job of covering everything. And I love the idea of doing a heart wall removal special for February. That's beautiful.
Yeah. So it's going to be $150. The way you're going to reach me to access this is you're going to email me. You can go to janecphillips.com, or you can go to jcp@Geyser, GEYSERLLC.com. Send me a note, said you heard about the February Heart Wall special. I'll send you a link so you can sign up for this special piece. And then I'll send you a link also to schedule the 30-minute start of it. And then from then on, we'll schedule from one session to the next until you're done. So you don't have to worry about I can't afford to finish it or whatever. You made a commitment. You want to go for it. If it's 3 sessions or 6, it's still going to be the same. And as I said, I want to help. And let's start this year out starting to get some of our freedom back in all the different ways that we can. And emotional freedom, freedom from the emotions running us, and having our own ability to have discernment is a big gift.
It is a big gift. Yeah. It is a big gift. Yeah. Thanks everybody for listening. We will see you again 2 weeks from now. So have a great February. Check out janecphillips.com.
Thank you all.